Interesting story today developing, and I believe there is real truth to it. Yahoo Sports had a story. We know Cleveland has the number 1 pick, and the Jets have moved up to number 3. Okay, the Giants have the number 2 pick, but there are strong indications they would be willing. They don't need a quarterback, they say. They don't want to draft a quarterback. They'd move down and get a bunch of picks. The 2 teams most likely to move up would be Arizona and Buffalo, who right now are literally desperate at quarterback. There's a lot of teams in the NFL that don't have a great quarterback. Buffalo and Arizona are desperate. So Yahoo Sports, in its latest mock draft, has Buffalo moving ahead of the Jets. You know what that means, right? That means Sam Darnold 1, Josh Rosen 2. The Jets gave up all those picks to get tiny, marginally athletic, cocky, 6-foot Baker Mayfield. Now, I've been told by you, let me just say this. You have lectured me over the last couple of months. Colin, it is not fair to compare Johnny Manziel to Baker Mayfield. It's not fair. Not fair, right? You've told me it's not fair. Even though they're the same size, same style, A&M and Oklahoma had offensive-minded coaches their final year in school, numbers are the same, they're both cocky. Even though the similarities are obvious, you have told me it is unfair to compare them. They're both cocky, they're both small, they like to run around, they're both same part of the country, had offensive college coaches and really profound college systems. Okay, I won't compare them. This is amazing, if Buffalo or Arizona moved to the number 2 spot, and Yahoo Sports this morning says Buffalo will, and you'd move up for Josh Rosen. Let me show you Baker Mayfield and Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel entered the NFL with a defensive head coach, Mike Pettin. Oh, wait, so would Baker. Both teams traded picks to move up. The long-time journeyman starter as mentor to both, Brian Hoyer, Josh McCown. Both first-round undersized. And both franchises, Jets and Cleveland, have been literally incompetent with quarterback. So you don't want Mayfield and Manziel to be compared, even though they look alike, play alike, sound alike, cocky alike. You do realize if this story is true, that Baker Mayfield is moving up to 3rd with the Jets, Cleveland and the Jets are the 2 NFL franchises that have butchered the quarterback for the last 10 years. They can't get it right. They give up picks. Manziel and Baker Mayfield would be entering the NFL virtually in the same operational system, same defensive head coach, same pressure because multiple picks traded to get him, same undersized quality, same northern part of the country, cold, windy, where you want a bigger guy. And by the way, one more thing, they both wear headbands. So you don't want me to compare Baker Mayfield and Johnny Manziel, even though they have college similarities. If this story is true and Baker goes to the Jets, him entering the Jets is exactly the same as Manziel entering with the Browns. Small, undersized guys, northern weather, giving up picks, defensive head coach, historically weak franchises who appear chaotic at the most important positions. You don't want me to compare them. How can I not compare them if this story and this mock draft has any validity? And I believe it does. It is the exact same weather, chaotic franchise, position, size, skill set, college offense. It's incredible. Literally how, and here's what's freaky. Mayfield would go to the Jets, and the current starter is Josh McCown. Do you realize by year 2 in Cleveland, Who was the veteran with the Browns? Josh McCown. Excuse me. Okay, you call me crazy, but when I saw that story this morning, I thought, oh my God. It's becoming the same exact jet stream. Lack of a better word, not New York jet stream. Same part of the country, college, same attitude, same size, same skill set, moved to the NFL, operationally weak, defensive head coach, undersized, northern part of the NFL, giving up picks. Wow, it's the same guy. But I've been lectured now for a couple of months. I can't compare the two. Then I get the headbands. How do I not compare the two? Good Lord, how do I not compare the two? So I saw a video came out yesterday. It was Carson Wentz posted a video of himself throwing, which is the fact that he's throwing is, off that torn ACL is not shocking because he was throwing prior to the Super Bowl. But I love this because I love Carson Wentz, and I can't wait for him to return, mostly because I will no longer have to talk about Nick Foles. Okay, Nick Foles, Case Keenum, Blake Bortles. These are mini-series. Mini-series can be, by the way, mini-series can captivate us momentarily. They can be briefly interesting. They're fun and surprising. The People versus OJ. For like a week, you're like, that's kind of interesting. You do get that Carson Wentz is Game of Thrones. Don't confuse briefly entertaining and briefly successful and briefly captivating Case Keenum, Nick Foles, with Sopranos, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, MASH, Law and Order, Seinfeld. Those are franchises that last often a decade. They make the producer rich, the director rich. It's generational income for all the actors. It makes the studio rich. It changes a stock price of a company. Okay, don't confuse Carson Wentz for what Nick Foles did. Nick Foles had a couple of nice games at the end. He was People versus OJ. He was briefly captivating. Don't confuse Case Keenum for a franchise-altering organization. Let me tell you, I'm just going to give you 7 quarterbacks over the next decade that are going to dominate this league and dominate the headlines. Now, this is 10 years, so Brady will be gone, Breeze will be gone, Big Ben will be gone. Okay? These are franchise guys, and I'll call my shot right here. In the next decade, these 7 quarterbacks will dominate this league. Andrew Luck, Carson Wentz, Russell Wilson, Sam Darnold, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, and Jimmy Garoppolo. Aaron will not play for 10 years, but I would imagine 6 to 7, and he'll win a Super Bowl or 2 potentially. Now that Brady's out, Breeze will be out, Big Ben will be out. Okay, now I didn't put Deshaun Watson in because he's had 2 ACLs, one at Clemson, one in Houston. If he gets another, he's not the same player. So I think he's really good, but we got 2 ACLs entering his second year in the NFL, and I am absolutely concerned he gets a third, he is not the same player. But I mean, this Nick Foles thing won't go away. Don't confuse a briefly captivating miniseries, People OJ, with Breaking Bad and Law and Order. Like when I watch Carson Wentz throw, it gets me all worked up. This is an all-time franchise, stock price, commerce-altering guy. Whitlock has gone crazy on this Nick Foles thing. The world went crazy on Case Keenum. I like Kirk Cousins. He's not a franchise-altering quarterback. He's a talented guy that'll have a bunch of good guys around him. But I love this video. Just, do we have the Whitlock going nuts? Oh, God, he's been selling Nick Foles. If I don't have to do another Nick Foles segment, I'll die happy.
If I'm Nick Foles, you can't get me to training camp unless I'm the starter somewhere with a starter contract. Now, if Philadelphia wants to make me the starter and pay me like a starter, I'm good. But if they don't, I'm not showing up.
Maybe I'm just a more loyal employee than you.
Yeah, it's nothing against Nick Foles. He's a good kid. But, man, just listening to everybody talk about Nick Foles, you do get how good Carson Wentz is. He's one of the 7 that's going to change the league in the next decade. Luck, Wentz, Wilson, Darnold, Rodgers, Carr, Garoppolo. Put it down in the bank. I know you're going crazy on Sam Darnold. I know you are. He is going to come in here for a decade and be a playoff guy probably 8 of the 10 years, even with Cleveland. Kristine with the news.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.